Welcome to Catalyst Conversations, the podcast where we spark powerful change in women's wealth. I'm Hadriana Leo, a wealth coach, counselor, and strategist, and each week we dive into the conversations, strategies, and stories that help women confidently create the life they've always dreamed of. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get started on transforming your relationship with money. This is Catalyst Conversations, igniting change in women's wealth. Let's spark the conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Catalyst Conversations. And please take some time to welcome my guest, Miss Louisa Thiessen. Hi, Louisa.
Hi, Hadriana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have this conversation with you.
Well, it's gonna be quite a conversation, and we've had some conversations in the past. There's so many things happening tied directly to how you serve and how you kind of interact with the world. But before we jump into all of that stuff, let's start with that personal motto that I always start off with. That thing, that phrase, that quote that kind of channels you, it gives you direction. You shared with us this quote: everything is figure outable. Now, okay, I don't know if it'll work on the Scrabble board. Someone will challenge me on figure outable. But why don't you tell me what about everything is figure outable just resonates, just speaks to you?
So I think I coined that term because I would always get freaked out on with things. That's how it all started. And then once I figured it out, it's just like it wasn't that big a deal. Why was
Yeah.
I freaked out? So I use that term a lot with my clients because when you're running a business and things are falling apart, you don't really know what's going to happen, but what you do know for sure is you will figure it out. It may not be the way that you think you will figure it out, but you will figure it out. And everything is really figure outable.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And then you think back, like hindsight is 2020. Now that you're in the present, you look back, it was figured out. So let's do it again, rinse and repeat. And to be honest, I think the approach of everything is figure outable kind of takes some of the weight off of whatever you're in right now because you've done it before, right? You
Hmm.
kind of, you can do it again, you'll figure it out. But I love that, especially in the context of what you do. So tell
Hmm.
our viewers, those who may not yet be familiar with your superpowers, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about what you do and how you help the people that you work with?
I would love to. So, I am a strategic business growth consultant. I help business owners build a business that is sustainable to them.
Mhm.
I don't believe in cookie cutter approaches, and I have an emphasis on sustainable to them because what's sustainable for me is not sustainable for you, Hadriana. Because I mean, we all want a lifestyle, right? So that is my superpower: is going into the weeds, into the business, and figuring out what goals the business owner has, identifying any gaps that need to be filled, whether that's team management or automation, as simple as that, and just helping them build the business of their dream. Emphasis
Mhm.
on their dream, not the dream of those on social media.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I partner up and help them figure things out.
Yes, right up there with your personal motto mantra there, figuring it out. So right now you are the founder, the owner, I guess the chief everything officer of Admin Virtuosa and Empire Business Collective.
Mhm.
What is it that's lighting you up about running this business, about what you offer, about the work that you're doing within these frameworks? What's lighting you up these days?
Okay, so Admin Virtuosa is my administrative consulting agency, and that is the OG, the original baby. I started that out of a place of complete burnout, and once I started it, I was determined to help people not burn out.
Mhm.
So what lights me up is seeing my clients go from overwhelmed to calm. Like, it's such a beautiful journey for me to get this client, and they trust me with their business and trust my expertise to get them from a point of complete overwhelm to, just being calm and and seeing their business thrive and having them rest. The amount of people that have come to me that have not had a vacation in years is
Yeah.
ridiculous. So having them rest, that lights me up. And with each client that I get, I'm like, okay, what is our goal? Is our goal for you to go on vacation in August? Okay, we're gonna work towards that. How are we gonna get you into the CEO role so that you can enjoy a vacation? And then with the Empire Business Collective, that was my arms extended from Admin Virtuosa, because what I was finding was not everyone needed the level of support that I was providing with the one-on-one consulting. What they needed was just a community. They needed pretty much to have a business strategist in their back pocket. So
Right.
I built this community so that small business owners who are not ready for full-time support or even part-time support can just come in and ask me any questions, ask their community any questions, and that originated not only because I realized not everyone needed my support one on one, but when I started my business, I had so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was doing, even as a business strategist. And it's really hard to find people that you can just go ask without them expecting something in return. And in some
Yeah.
cases, it's wrong. The whole like, hey, can I pick your brain for free?
Yes.
Like,
We're over that.
yes. Yeah. So I decided that I'll create a very low cost collective where you can have that in your back pocket. We communicate mainly through Slack, and we have co-working sessions, which are our number one rule with co-working sessions is you are
Mhm.
not allowed to work on your client load. You're working in your business, and it's once a month. And that's the reset, because as CEOs, how often, like, when was the last time you spent time in your business, right? So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's what that's about.
I see. And there is a difference. I actually like the idea of it's almost like having access on retainer. So
Mhm.
you just, you pay your retainer fee, which is not the one-on-one stuff, but you get targeted access. You get access that is actually designed to get you and your business moving. Because we all,
Mhm.
to be honest, the easiest part of the business, at least in my experience, is the service to the client because that's what I do. It's already my superpower, right? I wouldn't create a business where my service to the client is stressing me out. That's the easy part. I need support to actually create and run the business in a way that your word here is sustainable. So let's explore that. What I mean, we hear about sustainability in, climate discussions, eco stuff. The tree huggers always talk about sustainability, reduce, reuse, recycle, and the yah. I mean, not the yah. This is important stuff. But that's typically where we hear terms like sustainability. How do you see sustainability kind of applying when it comes to growth in business?
Okay, so that's a very good point, because when I started using sustainability in the business, people were like, "Oh, you're eco-friendly," and yes, I am. However, it's about yourself. So we think about, okay, recycle, reuse, take care of the trees, take care of that. What about yourself?
Yeah.
And sustainability in a business revolves around the person who's running the business,
Mhm.
especially when you're starting off. Well, actually, no, even in corporations, the CEO is the head, right? And if
Right.
the CEO cannot function, then the business cannot function.
Right.
So, sustainability in a business means taking care of yourself, taking action to make sure your mental health is taken care of, making sure your team is well taken care of, and also making sure you are making wise financial choices in your business. It's different tiers to it. So
Yeah.
again, take care of oneself, take care of your team, and take care of your expenses, your finances, because those three things are so important in your business. And honestly, when we are in the thick of things, that is the last thing we are thinking about. Like mental
Yeah.
health, what? No, I got money. I have to go make some money. Forget the mental health. That
Yep.
deal out there
'Cause
with the mental.
you have bills to pay, and if the bills don't get paid, the men you can be listen. If the bills aren't paid, you're still going crazy. So you
Mhm.
kind of need to make the money so you go less crazy. But the truth is, if we can focus on our well-being, we do so much better at
Mm,
all the other things that contribute to the physical wellness. If we can take care of our how we perceive the world, how we interact with the world, how and when it's time for us to step away from we actually serve the world much much better, and you can feel the vibe. You ever go to these networking events where you can just see the one that's just desperate for that next sale? I'm like, stay away from me.
yes.
Yeah, but it
Been
definitely comes with that energy. So in your business, sustainability, I guess, is rooted in personal wellness.
Yes, 110%. In my personal business, our model is doing business the healthy way, one of our many models, I should say.
Right.
And I echo that within my organization. So, with me, this is a perfect example. Last week was intense for me. And I have an assistant she does very light work on Saturdays. And sometimes I'll message her back. But I told her, I said, look, I'm not opening my laptop this weekend because I am done. I'm exhausted. I need my break. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's fine. Right. So I echo that within the organization. I'm taking a break. I'm not doing this. Also, if I'm having a meltdown, which, okay, we need to normalize these meltdowns that we have as entrepreneurs because
Yes.
we all go through it. If I
Yeah.
just had a meltdown and I'm struggling with my mental health, no, I'm not gonna go jump on a call. I'm gonna be like, hey, I just need a moment. I need to go for a walk because
Yes.
I can't do this, right?
Yeah.
So that is what sustainability looks like for me is making sure that I'm okay and making sure my team is okay, right? Because when you do that, your business thrives. When you do that, you're excited to go into work, to run your business, to serve, right? You cannot
Yeah.
give from an empty cup. And how do
Yep.
you fill your cup? By doing things that light you up.
Yeah, definitely lighting you up. Sustainability is, it's not even just the owner, but like you said, you model it so that the idea is equally reflected or at least made available without penalty
Mhm.
to the members of your team. So when you need a break, you ask for a break and you invite your team to do the same. That's powerful because I think for many of us, we've been programmed in such a way that if you give them an inch, they take a yard.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, that has led to a lot of distrust within
Mhm.
teams. So, have you found that this approach is beneficial or has it been detrimental? Does your team take unfair advantage of this way that you do business?
Absolutely not. And it's about hiring the right people,
Yeah.
right? And I have a pretty low turnover rate in terms of my team because
Mhm.
I have this model, right? And they don't, if anything, they want to give more, Adriana. They want to show up and they want to go above and beyond for the mission because they know I care. And
Yeah.
they know that if they go hard and they need a break, that break is there for them. And
Yep.
we have an all hands on deck situation. If one of our team members can't show up, then I know her load because we all have it on Slack, and my assistant knows, and we're like, okay, go rest, go take care of your child. We got this, right? And we
Mhm.
let our clients know, like, hey, we'll come through for you, but we're an all hands on deck. So you'll see some names pop up on your Slack channel and just know that they're a team member and we're just making sure we're getting the work done in a way that's healthy for all of us.
Wow. It definitely takes a village, don't it?
It does. It does.
Well, yes, indeed. Well, okay, so let's dive into how you had your own catalyst moment and how now you're taking that and using it to create a framework, to create a way of supporting your clients That is really novel. So we've talked about sustainability. Elevating your business is going to help you elevate your wealth, but not just from the money side of things. So let's talk about burnout. You hinted a bit at your own personal experience. So I personally know that burnout costs more than resting does. So tell me a little bit about your personal experience with burnout. I consider that to be a catalyst moment for you. What on
Mhm.
earth happened, Louisa?
So there's different layers to this. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. The first experience I had with burnout was back in 2012. I worked for a nonprofit organization, and it was just like the call is the mission. You just keep going, 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 going. And what I started to see was my performance decrease because I was tired. AKA that cost my boss money because he's paying me to just figure out what the heck I'm doing. Don't don't get me started on the mistakes I made because I was burned out. And
Yeah.
then I kept going because I didn't know anything about burnout. The icing on the cake was I was like physically sick, Adriana. Like
Oh.
I wish someone would have told me what was happening because I would get up and I would just be shaking and I would just throw up. And I'll pop a Pepto Bismol because hey, I gotta go to work. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just so depleted. So I eventually resigned from that position. Well, I left the country. That was in New York. So I'm a New
Mm-hmm.
Yorker. And my husband and I were already planning to move to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So I left and I couldn't work for 6 months because I didn't have status, which was the best thing for me because I needed to rest. Like my body was physically ill and I would
Right.
sleep, 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 didn't understand why. And then during that time, I learned about burnout and I was like, oh, well, Pepto
Uh-huh.
Bismol wasn't going to solve any problems. I was burned
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
So then I kind of started to look up ways to prevent that. So I went back to work and I had very strong boundaries. And it was frowned upon because you're here to work. And yes, I understand, but I'm going to do my job within these parameters because I know my body.
Right.
Ruffle some feathers, and I was like, whatever, it's all good. Then I became a stay-at-home mom. I had my children, and COVID hit, burned out, and that. First of all, you can burn out as a mom. Like it's mommy
Oh my
burnout's a
word. I
thing.
think, to be honest, I think that's our primary burnout source,
Mhm.
especially when you consider how we've been conditioned as women.
Yeah.
But that's another podcast
That's
episode right
another, yeah. So then that happened, and I was like, okay, I can't stay full-time mommying because I'm going to go crazy starting my business.
now. Hmm.
And there were some things that I I remembered. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to burn out. But there are some things that I completely disregarded. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that because I am going to scale this. Actually, not even scale, grow this thing. I'm going places. And I was saying yes to every opportunity. Yes, I'll do that. Yes. Oh, I don't like what you stand for, but yes, I'm going to do it. And what happened was my performance decreased.
Yeah.
I started really hating coming to work. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, I started a business to like find freedom, to have joy. Why am I doing this? So before I got to the point where I was like brutally sick, I
Mhm.
pumped the brakes and then I went back to the drawing board. I rebranded and then I also niched down and I was like, I'm only working with business owners who have been in the business for a little, they've got some skin in the game. So 2 years and up, then I can kind of talk to them. Anything under 2 years, then I'll direct them to a virtual assistant, whether it's on my team or I build a referral network. I also, so when I started my agency, I was doing social media management, marketing, brand, things I had no business doing. Hey, Gianna.
Hello. But it's what everybody else was doing that called themselves an online business manager. We do it all.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. And I'm not going to have anyone on my team do it. And yes, I'm leaving money on the table. However, when you own an agency, if the person don't deliver, you got to do it. And I don't like social media management. So what I did, I built my referral network and I've been a lot healthier since.
No
And
doubt.
I love what I do. And saying no to opportunities actually is a lot easier because I know that Well, every yes to someone is a no to someone else. So if I say no to someone, then I have space for someone else that's going to just light me up.
Yeah, yeah, that's a brave thing to do. But I think sometimes the lessons we have to learn in life, they come out of real like meltdowns. Like things literally have to fall apart
Hmm.
before we pay enough attention and decide to build it back with intention. Because if what I've heard you say was in, you had your burnout experience with that company in New York, you moved, you settled, you switched, and you were almost going back down the same path because now you're even that much more driven, even that much more ready to create something. I mean, this is your baby. You got to do it, man. This is going to be good. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be, and it comes at a price. So good on you for putting those boundaries in place. A rough lesson, but a lesson learned. And
Yeah.
now we can see that burnout, it's expensive. It costs too much for us to be making that the state that we work in. Now, tell us a little bit about clarity, because I think the two kind of go hand in hand. Because in my mind, I can tell you honestly, the first time I hired a VA, I was so unhappy, and I've had a few at different stages in my business. The first time I hired a virtual assistant, I thought this person just didn't know what they were doing. They couldn't do the job. But guess what? And I say this to anybody who's looking to hire a VA. I say to them, you need to know what you want. You need to know what you need. You need to have specific, a clear understanding, a measurable understanding. Tell me how clarity kind of fits into the model of what you do with your clients.
Okay. So let's go back to burnout is expensive. That's also that goes in line with hiring a VA because by the time you realize you need a VA, you are exhausted. You're done. You're
Yeah.
at the brink of burnout. You're like, hey, I take this. And you hire a VA and then it doesn't work. They don't work out. Right. So what I've adopted, everyone that comes to me and they're like, I need a VA, I need a VA. And I'm like, okay, let's slow down. Let's see what's going on. What is the root issue? I
Mhm.
do that through an operations assessment. It's an audit, but I say assessment or review because people like fluffier words than no one likes to be audited, right? So
Nope.
exactly. So through that assessment, I'm able to identify like where are the gaps, what are your goals, what are your budgets, what can we automate? Because a lot of the times there's automation that could happen, but we don't have the time to figure it out, right? So and through that assessment, I also check on the anxiety levels with automation. I would say that's to anyone. If you're not comfortable with automation, don't do it because you're going to be losing sleep at night wondering, oh my gosh, did that link work? So if you're not comfortable with automation, then you need to be comfortable with having someone, a virtual assistant, handle those things that we would otherwise automate. That we live
Mhm.
in a world where everyone's like, you need to automate. Yes, it's cost efficient, but it's not worth your mental health. You being up at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So through the assessment, I'm able to kind of get a ballpark figure. Okay, what's going on? Okay, you need a VA to help you with these. But if you don't have processes in place, then where are we going? Like you want me to answer your emails for you. What tone do you want me to answer? What is the procedure?
Right.
Because surely I can answer an email, but if you don't like my tone, then you can't be mad at me because you didn't tell me that
Look at
this
that.
is
I'm here giggling because I'm imagining you going Brooklyn on your reply as opposed to British Columbia.
funny. Do we need direct? Do we need soft? Like,
Exactly. And that's guidance that anyone would need if they're going to help you operate your business. Like you set the tone. So your operations assessment helps to kind of uncover all of this all of this information, all of this it's a gold mine to help you kind of guide them, and then you get clarity and
mhm,
your client has clarity.
exactly. And through that clarity, then I'm able to actually give you a proposal of the services that you need. One of
Mhm.
the things that kind of irks me, I mean, it makes sense, but it kind of irks me when you have a leader like, what's your price?
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, well, what do you need? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? It's not as simple as like you go to a grocery store, there's a price tag on it. It's like, well,
Right.
what do you need, right? So through
Uh-huh.
that assessment, I'm able to actually give you an accurate quote of what you need. And there have been times where they don't need a VA on my team. They need some marketing. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna onboard you right now because that's money going down the hole. Let's get you some
Right.
marketing. I know so and so that can help you with this. And then I work with my referral partners where it's like, okay, this person needs this. When this is done, then you send them back to me and then we reassess, right?
Right.
So that's the big picture. I'm very big on, well, I would say the assessment came about from, well, it stemmed from me onboarding people and all of us just being overwhelmed. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. So that's where I'm like, if you want to get started on this working relationship, we need to do the assessment and then we'll figure it out.
So, what do you do for the person who needs all the things that you do, let's just say, but they don't have the revenue that will allow them to do all the things? Can you help them pinpoint the most strategic things that they can invest in?
Yes, absolutely. So for those who don't have the revenue to fully dive in, we start with the most important part and then we work in stages. It's like, okay, stage one, we're gonna focus on this.
Hmm.
And then we'll see where we're at. And more often than not, this is where I'm like, let's get the marketing person because you need some cash flow. And then we'll come back and once you got some cash flow, we'll get some processes in place. That's stage two. And then once that's sorted out, then okay, let's get you a VA because VA and OBM tiers are different. OBM is more strategic, so it's more expensive. VA is lower end, right?
Right.
So we work in stages to get you to a point where you could afford continual service if that's what you actually want slash need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Because one of the things I do with when I'm coaching businesses when it comes to their money and actually creating that wealth is focusing on the things that will actually generate the revenue. There are
Mhm.
there are always going to be a million flavors of ice cream for us to choose from, right? And we
Yep.
all want the nice ones, the ones that are great, the ones that hit our palate just perfectly. But there are those strategic moves that are actually going to move your business, and those are the ones that we need to be investing in because
Mm.
those are the ones that create measurable, tangible ROIs, so returns on investment. So in my mind, having you in my corner to help me figure out, okay, what's that strategic move? Where should we be investing right now? What's actually going to create more revenue that will allow us to invest more? I think that's priceless. And I think that speaks to your point about we don't have to do this by ourselves, which is the whole idea behind what you do. So many of us, and I can put my hand up, there is some sort of I guess wear the cape mentality that we have, that we feel we have to do it ourselves in order for us to be able to say, we did it, we are successful, we did it ourselves. But you're saying we need to know when to reach out for support and where to find it. How are you helping your clients or those around you identify those, this is where I need support?
That's a great question. So before they come to me with a discovery call, I try to promote it or enlighten them through social media. Then
Hmm.
when they come to me with a discovery call, I'm like, okay, let's look at your operations and see what we need. And then I use this explanation to kind of how to explain it to the best of my ability. So my first corporate job in New York, I was 19. I was clueless. And the CEO, Adriana, I cannot tell you how annoyed I was with this man. It was an architect firm, and I was like, this man is lazy. I can't stand him. Everything he needs an assistant, he needs assistance for. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm in business strategy, I'm like, that man's a genius and he is a
Hella.
billionaire because he stayed in his zone of genius. He was
Yep.
not going to be bothered with sending an email, even though me, I'm like, send your own email, man. Leave me
Yep.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
onto something, right? And as CEOs, we have to adopt that mindset, right? And I also joke around, like, how could billionaires be so clueless in like random things? And it's because they're in the zone of genius.
Yep.
And as business owners, we have our own zone of geniuses. And this is where I'm like, you're not designed to do it all yourself. For instance, my kryptonite is marketing, social media management. I hate it. Right. So I got help with that. And when I asked for help, I was able to focus on helping my clients. Right. And it's the same with any CEO. What is your zone of genius? What are you doing that you have no business doing? Because that is holding you back and is actually costing you money. There are
Mm-hmm.
people out there, and this might hurt your ego, there are people out there who can do a better job at what you're doing that you have no business
Absolutely.
doing than you. And
Absolutely.
that's where I try to really let them know like it is okay to not be the expert in everything. You're not designed to be you're not designed to be that way at all. And if you're going to scale your business, you need to be able to let go.
Yeah. Let go. Give clear instructions. Let it go and trust the person that you've hired to do the job well. Now, you kind of spoke a little bit there about scaling, and you've mentioned the word more than once. So let's talk about scaling.
Mm-hmm.
All of us need to be, the one who has the conference that brings in 10,000 people, and, you say your name and you're on Oprah's podcast, hashtag goals, and you're the one that when people say your name, everybody knows who you are. Is that what scaling is?
No. There are so many people who are on Oprah's podcast and in the light, and their operations are a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Scaling means growing your business in a way that again is sustainable. So think about scale. You want it balanced, right? Some
Yeah.
people what they do, they just grow, 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 and then the scale is imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
And they don't care about operations. They just care about growing and vanity metrics. When you scale your business, you're doing it slowly. So let's say you do get a podcast with Oprah and you are expecting, let's say, 20 leads. Is your operation ready to handle 20 leads, or are you going to be in balance? And
Yeah.
more often than not, those hot shots, that's a huge I've worked behind the scenes and honestly, it shocked me, Hadriana. I was like, oh my gosh, how could you have so many followers, all these fancy conferences, and your operations are in shambles? Like you're in the negatives in
Mm-hmm.
in revenue, and your team is in and out, right? And it's
Yeah.
because you focus on growing and not scaling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember doing I was part of I was part of a coaching program. This was a group coaching program. Went for a year, and they onboarded really aggressively, like really aggressively. And through that onboarding, they missed something. In fact, I didn't even realize they had missed it. So apparently there was a big offer with that onboarding marketing funnel, that
Mhm.
people who came on were going to get all these different things when they came on. And I didn't come on for that. So it did not register. It wasn't until I saw this whole social media backfire, like, oh my goodness. And then this person had to go back, kind of catch themselves, start over. And the good thing was, this coach made it right. So she sent the gear, she sent the this, the that, and all the things. She did send it. But that kind of that kind of system malfunction could literally topple a business, because this, I mean, she's based in the US and they don't play. You know it, Louisa. They
Yep.
came after her big time. I can just imagine the program launch, and then, I mean, like 4,000 people were on there, and she had to make good. So I'm pretty sure she took a big hit financially because the systems were not in place to support that kind of growth. But here's the truth, and it's a truth that I see in my business. It's a truth that I see for so many people. Most of us don't need 100 clients.
Nope. Nope.
Most of us don't even need 50. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us can more than achieve our revenue goals, our lifestyle goals, um, by maintaining a good, sustainable Rolodex of clients that love what you do and allow you to do it well. So, how do you kind of guide your entrepreneurs away from the whole hustle script, that hustle culture? How do you kind of get them to, you know what? You can tap into your own definition of what scale looks like.
Yeah. So with all of my retainer clients, we have 90-day planning sessions, strategic planning sessions. And in those sessions, we set goals.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a revenue goal. And
Right.
we are constantly working towards that goal. And what I do is with my clients, if they reach that goal, I'm like, we did it. Go rest. Some of them, they're like, no, 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 we have to go. And I'm like, rest because we've revived and then
Mm-hmm.
come back and then we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
That is how I keep them aligned with it. And for those that don't reach their goals, every 90 days we're going back and we're like, okay, what worked, what didn't work. Okay, we're not gonna keep doing the same thing that's not giving us a return on investment. This
Mm-hmm.
is silly, right?
Right.
And through those conversations, if I see that they're feeling defeated or they're just downhill, then I'm like, okay, maybe you just need a day off to rethink things. I'm gonna do some research and then let's regroup. We have that open conversation, and before I sign them on, I'm like, you have to trust me to tell you, like, hey, you need a pause and you
Yeah.
need to listen because you're gonna drag your business to the ground if you don't. So those 90-day strategic calls, I call it like a CEO reset. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we've done, this is where we're going, and then we kind of go from there.
Yeah, yeah. You're giving off some real coaching vibes there, let me tell you. Because not only do you need the 90 days to kind of do a reset, you also need the 90 days to celebrate what worked, man. Like, when do we pat ourselves on the back and say, you know, that funnel worked well, and let's see how we can rinse and repeat it? We very rarely give ourselves the fuel that we need to get up and go again. And I think a big part of fueling is, acknowledging success, celebrating successes, and celebrating when the system works. Because
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that some of some not everybody trusts the tech to work as it should, and for the person who says, you know what, let's try it, we have to acknowledge when it actually works. So in your work, you depend heavily on systems. They're not all automated, but they all are systematic. How do you see systems creating freedom for your people?
Okay, so here's an example. For me, I'm I like automation, but I'm not heavy on automation because I'm the type of girl that'd be like, oh my gosh, a lead came through, did it work? Right. So for me, what I've done, I have automated in a sense someone reaches out and I don't feel the pressure to like automatically like respond. They get an email saying, hey, we'll be in touch with you, blah, blah, blah. If someone signs a contract, they automatically get the client onboarding thing. Because for me, that was important. I'm like, if someone signs a contract, I want them to know immediately I got them. So
Yes.
that's automated. Here you go. Here's your client onboarding. And I tell them I will be in touch with you shortly to book a kickoff call. Reason why I'm choosing to do that myself is because I need to make sure my calendar's in line because sometimes my calendar play games and I've got
Yeah.
kids. Sometimes an event sneaks in and the last thing I want to do is have my client book a call and be like, hey, sorry, my son has a field trip that I signed up for, right?
Right.
So I make sure that that's set up. And it's the same with my clients. A lot of my clients are doing the manual things as
Mhm.
well, the manual discovery call booking, the manual, hey, I received your email, I'll be in touch shortly. And
Right.
we were it's a really fast-paced environment now. Well, nowadays people want answers like stat. So
Yeah.
you want your leads, your clients to know, like, hey, I received your message right away. So that saves time as well. Also, funnels and email marketing. Let's say you have a lead gen. Hey, download this thing. Surely you don't want to have to spend time emailing each and every single person their download, right? So through
Right.
that, you can create a funnel and say, hey, here's your freebie. And on top of that, you can nurture them. Like imagine every lead you get, you have to manually, actually, some people don't have to imagine it. This is the reality. Every
Wow.
lead you get, you have to like message, hey, how you doing? You can set that up and automatically have these leads be nurtured, right? So
Yeah.
it's very basic stuff, and it can be as complex as automating your entire client journey. And if you want the whole client journey automated, let's say they fill out a proposal, they fill out a contract, and let's say you're the creative, right? You provide your design, click of
Mhm.
a button, send it to them, and then they do email automations like reminder, you have to
Right.
approve this, right? You can go as detailed as that or as little as possible, but
Yeah.
automation will save you time and it will save you money if you are open to it and your anxiety does not get the best of you.
Yeah, it's not, I think, for one thing, if there's fear of automation, we can inform that fear. So it doesn't mean that you will never automate. It means that you will automate to the level to which you're comfortable until the time comes when you have to explore further. That time may never come. I think it also is worth exploring that. I know for myself, one of the reasons why I hesitated to automate before was because it lost a personalized touch. There was something almost robotic about sending everybody the same email. Like, oh my God. And then you feel it, right? Like you read the thing and you're like, oh, she didn't even put my first name or they didn't even address me. But if you want to personalize, it could be something as simple as setting up the template, and having the trigger create a draft email that you can now go into your drafts, personalize it the way you want, and send it off. I mean, there are ways to do this that we keep our integrity, we keep that level of service that we want for our client experience
Mhm.
without us having to have to do listen, templates in Gmail, in email, in Outlook are just divine. And I think everyone should set them up. This was years ago, but I remember being told, if you're going to send this thing more than twice, you need a template. I don't know what your subscription is to that, but would you
Tem-
agree?
yes, templates are the way to go. And I use templates a lot because I like the personalized touch.
Yeah,
So when I have to go in and get my client to book a kickoff call, that's a template. And I customize it. I put their names, which if I wanted, there's ways you can automate for the CRM to put the client name, but I do it myself.
totally. Yeah,
And I talk to their issues like, hey, I'm so excited to talk about so and so, book your call. That's my
yeah,
touch of personalization, but it's a template. And even as you grow, and if you want to outsource the one-on-one contact, you use a template,
yeah.
and it's a game changer. So I am 110% behind templates for that as well.
Yes. Well, you and I, we speak the same language. You don't call yourself a coach, but I think you got a coach in you, my friend. Only for no other reason than you allow people to come to the fullest expression of themselves
Mm-hmm.
in their business. And that's what coaching is all about. So you might say consultant, I'm going to call you Coach Louisa.
I'll let us slide. I'll let us slide.
No, but that's really cool. I really appreciate this conversation. And I hope that there's an entrepreneur, a business owner, a budding CEO that can really take some gems from this. Before we wrap up, I'm wondering if there's anything else you want to share with us, any last little nugget of truth or wisdom that you wanted to leave with us today.
I think I just want to finish again with what we started. Everything is figureoutable. And
Yeah.
if you are feeling stuck, shoot me a message and let's talk about it and
Mhm.
figure it out together.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs. Where are you clicking away and sharing content, and how they can reach you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Louisa Thiessen. That is where I hang out most of the time. I do have an Instagram account, not as active as Admin Virtuosa and Empire Business Collective. And if you want to check out my website, it's www.adminvirtuosa.com.
Awesome. I'm hoping that lots of people will be checking you out, but keep on sharing the great stuff. To anyone who's listening or watching, if you were looking to tap into Louisa's content, I can tell you that whether or not you work with her, she is dropping some really great gems on LinkedIn. You really need to go there, take a look. But better still, I think a discovery is worth the conversation. That's what I say about my discovery calls for sure. And in my conversation with Louisa, it definitely has been. So be sure to check her out. Be sure to maybe reach out and send that message, send that email. You'll be really happy that you did. So Louisa, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our conversation and our energy. I got mad love for you, Hadriana.
Yeah, girl. It's all the New York vibes. Yes. Anyways, great having you. And to all of our viewers, all of our listeners, thanks for being part of this. And I will see you later. Take care. Thank you for joining me today on Catalyst Conversations. I hope this episode sparked something powerful to help on your journey to building wealth confidently and unapologetically. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep moving toward your goals, stay empowered, and continue sparking change on your wealth journey. This is Hadriana, and you've been listening to Catalyst Conversations.